So we're going on, what is it now? About 2, maybe 3 days of ownership, and that Cree LED is still kicking on, still doing pretty good. No degradation of brightness, performed well in all aspects. So I guess now we're just into the longevity testing. That'd be the first thing on my mind to say today. Other things that have happened, our tomato plant finally made one tomato out of that whole garden. It's still green, it hasn't ripened yet, but it's holding on. It's getting a little bigger each day as long as it's kept watered. I don't know what went on with our gardens, and anybody out there who knows anything, maybe can tell me. I've heard this from other people. All their plants did this year was grow, but they didn't make any tomatoes. Some did, but it was late in the season, and some did not, and some, like ours is just now put on its first tomato. It's got little balls on it, so there may be more coming, but don't know. And I water them, and they just look so wilted. I know the heat's taken a huge toll on them, but I've never seen plants suffer with that much water. I'm probably putting over a 55-gallon drum worth of water on those plants in the evening. I'm watering them in the evening and staying away from watering them during the day, because supposedly that hurts them to water them in the daytime. But the little Cherokee purples we have, they haven't made anything. They're just sitting there about the same size they always were, no tomatoes. The leaves look all curled over and whatnot. They're still green. It looks like the heat's burning them up. They have had fertilizer, but not an extreme amount. The leaves aren't burning up and turning yellow like they do when you have fertilizer. It's like they're not getting enough water. I'm afraid to water them more because I don't want to rot the roots out. But don't know. Really don't know. I think all we're going to get off that is probably 1 or 2 tomatoes if we're lucky this year. But being that they were the ones strong enough to make it, I may, instead of eating them, I may go ahead and get the seed from them and save those seeds and plant another batch. Only this time, I think I'm going to pot grow them. I'm not going to grow them in the ground, or I'm going to do it in a raised bed, some way to keep nutrients going to the plant, because they're just suffering. They're suffering out there, and I don't know what to do to help them. I can't transplant them because they've already grown in there, and I don't know how far the root systems go on those plants. But one thing I have discovered is the soil near the house unsuitable for growing plants. I mean, it'll grow grass all day long. Oh, the grass is big and green and beautiful all around there where the water gets, but all our beans shriveled up and died, and what didn't shrivel up and die got ate by the rabbit. And I swear if I ever catch that rabbit out there, I'm going to shoot him and eat him. I'm going to get my food back. Rabbits ate up all our cucumbers. I've never seen things like this. Usually rabbits leave cucumbers alone, but ate the whole plant. Ate all the radishes. All that's left in that garden is like maybe 6 tomato plants, and they're not doing all that great. The cucumbers were doing awesome. They were green. They were just about to start putting on fruit, and the rabbit ate every bit of them and ate all the beans but one. The one bean made 2 pods and died, and that was the end of it. But it was near the tomatoes, and I think that had some effect that the rabbit didn't like it, or who knows what, but it was the only one that survived. There's still some basil growing out there. There's one basil stalk still growing out there, but the parsley's gone. All the other plants are gone. It's just a grass patch other than the tomatoes. So I think at the end of the growing season, I'm going to mow all that under and just make it back to yard. And we're going to do raised beds next year, because There's no way to grow anything. Plus, with a raised bed, you can control the weed growth a lot easier. We're going to probably mulch what isn't planted to keep the weeds and stuff from coming, because definitely the things I found out this year, just figuring out what grows and what doesn't here. The herb type plants are doing okay. She's got an herb garden over there. I mean, they'll grow in this soil, and they don't have a problem. The mint is going crazy. Have to keep an eye on the mint, but garden type plants like your vegetables and stuff, they do terribly here. I've never seen it so bad. I mean, I've grown plants in pots and in little cups, school experiments, that have grown better than this stuff. And I know it's got to be the soil or some condition relating to it, because we're giving them plenty of water and they've got fertilizer. But I think the soil is so sandy that the water that you put on there just goes and it's gone, and the plants can't capitalize on it. I mean, short of getting a soaker hose, I don't know any other way to keep them healthy. And then you have the double-edged sword. If you're running a soaker and it's going through the sand, it's leaching all the fertilizer you put down out of the sand. You know, it's carrying it with it. So I don't think this year is going to be a very productive year as far as plants go, or as far as our vegetables. There's nothing left. And I'm real happy that we kind of named our big tomato plant George, and I'm kind of happy that George made one tomato. You know, at least it produced something. You know, the plant is not a total failure. So, and that's good. You know, but I'm hoping that because it was able to make one, that the offspring of that plant should be strong enough that when they're planted, they should be able to withstand a lot of the harshness that the other plants failed to grow in. And the Cherokee Purples, I don't ever want to touch those things again. That was a total waste of money. Heirloom or not, those things barely grow. They're worthless. You're pissing your money away buying those things. Next year we're probably going to just go with already sprouted and grown, you know, young tomato plants, and then just transplant them into whatever we do, or pot grow them. Like I said, I don't know. Terrible year for crops. Terrible year. I've never seen it so bad. Even my mom's crops, well, hers are actually doing well, but I think it's the location. They're not in full sun. They have partial shade, and maybe that's what needs to happen. But everything I've ever seen concerning tomatoes, they always say full sun. But I think that's a conditional thing. It's just too damn hot for anything here. And it's burning stuff up, you know, burning the plants up. So, a lot to consider next year when we plant our garden. A lot to consider. And I guess I'll let y'all go with that. And, you know, anybody wants to comment, go ahead. I'm always happy to get them. And take care.